Kakadosh, we're going to be now on page 12. This is going to be the Shiurim on Yorucha, page 12. We are going to continue, even though the little tiny line finishes by Kinat Sofrim Tarbe Chochma, which basically is going to tell us that there's a special din in teachers of Torah, meaning Torah might be different. We're actually going to continue the Gemara. But before continuing the Gemara, we're going to do a quick Chazara. So one more time, right? Because remember, this is basically one of the Mekor's dins, and as long as we remember this, we're going to know what the halacha should be, because you could start bringing proofs from the Gemara, what we learned. So one more time, the Gemara comes and he says, and this was on page 11, right? We went and we said that Rav Huna, you remember we could actually even read it. Look on the page 11 on the bottom. You've got it in Hebrew, right? Bedina Sagat Gvul, right? Yesh lechalek, right? Ima Masig, hu echad me'adarim be'ota shchuna, אם מודר באותה מבוי, נחלקו תנאים והאמוראים, אם מותר לו לפתוח, וקם עליהם כרב הונא ברד רב יהושע, שמותר לו להשיג גבולו, ואם מודר באותה העיר ורצה לפתוח במבוי של חברו, הרי זה גם ביד דלא יפשטה, וכתבו ראשונים שהוא ספיקה לכולה, אוקיי? ובמבוי אחר, לכולי עלמא מותר לו לפתוח. ואפילו אם עיר אחרת, אם נותן מס העיר, דינו כבן העיר, אך אם מודר בעיר אחרת, ולא נותן מס העיר, יכולים בן העיר לעכב עליו מלפתוח בגבולם. שמעת? אוקיי. Yofi. So I'm going to translate in English, right? Some people they didn't understand in Hebrew. So the Gemara, right? This is what we're doing. One more time. The Gemara bases the rights of competition upon the competitor's place of residence. Meaning everything depends on where do you live, right? Where do you live? So it's going to start. If he resides in the same mavui, the lacha allows him to open up a competing venue, right? Who's the one that says that? If it's in the same mavui, you're allowed to. That's obviously not like Rav Huna, not like Rashbag. Chazak u'baruch. Yeah, if he lives in a different mavui in the same city, right? What happens if he lives in a different mavui in the same city? That was a bayad lo yivsheta. You know what bayad lo yivsheta means? What does that mean? In other words, you like that one. You like he loves saying it all the time, huh? The question is, what happens if you live in another mavui? Aventura to Surfside.
All of them, if you come from a different city.
I didn't say different city. One more time. One mavui to another mavui. You're allowed to? Teku, bayad lo yivsheta. It's a question that was not answered. Now the Rishonim are going to say that since it was inconclusive, so therefore you're allowed to. Right? Why? Because sveika lekula, it's a safek, it's a doubt. So we go lenient. Why? Because whoever said that you could stop me now. Maybe you can't stop me. It was a teku, right? Teku means you can't stop me. The same would apply if he lives in a different city but pays taxes to the same city. You remember that was another exception to the rule. And if he lives in a different city and does not pay taxes, then they could forbid him from competing there. That's a little sikum, mamash, a little summary. But we're just going to run through the Gemara one more time just to get it clear. Okay? No, as long as once you start paying taxes from the beginning, you're already part of the city. Because paying taxes shows that you want to live in the city. Nobody would pay taxes if they didn't need to. Understand? So the fact that they're paying taxes, it shows that they want to live here in the city. Yeah? Says the Gemara very quickly, one more time. Kafalef Amubed, this is page 11. Right? Page 11. Right? Kafalef Yeshach Kav. Betzad Yemin Shama, okay? Yeshach Kav. So he says like this. Amar Ravuna, says Ravuna. So one more time, Ravuna comes and he says, this person has a mavui. And in his mavui, he comes and he has a rechaim. Remember that the rechaim is what? Is a mill. So they're coming and they're using this mill, right, for his parnasah. All of a sudden, comes somebody else from the same mavui. They come and they want to open up shop. Says Ravuna, he could stop him. Why? You're stopping my parnasah. Why are you stopping my parnasah? At the end of the day, what are you doing? You're stopping my parnasah. I was the only one that had the mill, and all of a sudden now, right, you also have the mill. It's a problem. Okay? Fine. Says the Gemara. Yeah, he comes and he says like this. Lema Mesayele, we're going to bring a proof. What's the proof? The proof is Marchikim Mitzudat Adag Min Adag, Kimlo Ritzat Adag. Right? Linether, I think maybe either tomorrow or if not Sunday or Monday, we're going to bring down the other Rishonim because there's going to be other Rishonim. What's the explanation by the fish, which is actually very fascinating. How do fish actually work? But we're going to see. But the way that the Rashi is learning is that there's a halacha. The second that I come and I set up shop to catch fish, so therefore what happens is now you cannot also set up shop in the same place. You have to distance yourself. How much? 1 parsa. How much is a parsa? Around 4 kilometers. So imagine 4 kilometers you have to distance yourself from my nets. Now says why? Because so therefore, this is a proof that what? That you have to distance yourself. So imagine I've got my nets here, right? You come, you all of a sudden see that I've got my boats there and I've got my nets. So you are sorry, 4 kilometers radius, you have to go away, right? You move away, and now you could set up shop, right? But you can't, you can't go right beside me. Sorry. So says the Gemara, that's a proof that what? Proof to Rav Huna. You can't start opening up a competition. Maybe you're right. Maybe if you're going to tell me it's going to be 4 kilometers away, maybe you could open up a competition because it's far away. You understand? But not close by. So says the Gemara, it's not true. Why? Shane dagim de siara. He says fish are different. Why are fish different? Fish is ki'ilu that you already went in. What does it mean you already went in? It's ki'ilu that you're already inside. The fish is already caught. So since the fish is already considered caught, the second that he sees the food, he's going to be running to your nets. It's ki'ilu that the other guy was going to come and is going to take it away from you. That means even though physically he's not in your net, but the fact that it's kimat batuach, it's almost that it's a certain that he's coming to you. Come on, that's it. You're not allowed to. So that's going to be a difference between the fish and a competition. Why? Well, you've got 2 competing stores. Whoever said they're going to come to me, maybe they're going to go to you. But here it's ki'ilu batuach that the fish is going to come to you. So therefore, right, you cannot bring me a proof from the fish. So says the Gemara, okay, fine. So I can't bring a proof to Rav Huna. So now we're going to try to say, you know what, but maybe Rav Huna is only shitat yechida. Why? He's going like Rabbi Yehuda. He's not going like Chachamim. And therefore, if we paskin like the Yachiv Rabim Lachak Rabim, we always paskin like the Rabim. So for obviously what? We don't need to pay attention to Rav Huna. Why? He says the Gemara, maybe Rav Huna goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. Why? There's going to be a very simple machloket, right? Imagine right now, you come and you give incentives. Certain people, they come and they give incentives, right, to lure customers in. Sometimes it's lost leaders, sometimes it's points, sometimes there are many different incentives that you could give, right? They could come and they give different incentives. So the question is, are you allowed to give an incentive for people to come to you? So imagine right now you've got 2 stores, yeah, and they're grocery stores. So now it could be that you go to one store, and all of a sudden when you come to my store, what I do is I give your children candies. Now, the truth is, for me, it's the best investment in the world because I'm giving your children candies. What's going to happen next time? Your children, when they're driving by, what is the first thing? Daddy, let's go here. You say, no, but I was going to go to the other store. No, but let's go here. Why do they want to go there? Because they want the candies. So therefore, what you just did was you lured over you lured them to you. Are you allowed to do that or not? Says the Gemara, that's using bait. Right? It says there's a bait. For fish, you use a bait, whatever it is, shrimps and all these things. And for the children, you use candies and other things for the bait. Right? And for adults, you use bigger toys. Right?
What about the dentist and shoulder gives candies?
That's a bechavana.
No, I'm saying.
That's not bait. That's bechavana. That's called mazik. And then afterwards, he wants to charge you double. So you have to start telling him, no, hey, I don't mind you giving candies, but what? But you have to pay for it. You have to give it to me for free.
My dad never had candy in my house.
Yeah?
My dad never wanted candy.
Okay, very good. The what? Yes, Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim. So Rabbi Yehuda says, right, that you're not allowed to give candies, and Chachamim say that you're allowed to. So we wanted to say that just like Rabbi Yehuda. Which one?
Everybody can do the same.
Exactly. Well, that's Chachamim. That's how we paskin. Yes. Yeah. Very good. One second. Very good. Yes. So says the Gemara, from the fact that Rabbi Yehuda says you're not allowed to, so that sounds like Rav Huna. And the Chachamim say that you're allowed to, so there's no problem. Answers the Gemara, no. Nothing to do with each other. Why? Hafilu tem Rabbanan. If you're going to tell me it's Rabbanan, akalo palig Rabbanan alei der Yehuda tamel amale ana kamipalgina. Right? I'm gozi ve'at plug shiske. He says, 1 second. I'm giving out walnuts. You give out almonds. Right? Imagine that was the candies at once upon a time. You understand? Miskinim the people, no? Right? Miskinim the people. You know, this is their treat. Huh?
Shopping told me when they came to school, they went.
Even though they're gonna say exactly miskinim us, because look what we need for candy. Things which are just like, the more poison, the better that it is.
The candy. She
Huh?
from school used to go past the Bet Midrash. She told me her grandfather, she remember, You would give her like peanuts. That was like their.
Yeah, that was their candy. That was like their special thing. Yeah, 100%. Okay, fine. So now he comes and he says like this. He says, Meitvei. Sorry, why? He says, even here the rabbis agree, because here you could say, Pasakta li lichayoti, because here they were not established. And right there, you could say, listen, each one could give something out. But not that you could just open up shop and do whatever you want. So fine. So the Gemara now is going to ask a question, mefurash, against Rav Huna. Rav Huna just told you that within the same mavui, I could stop you. I could stop you opening the shops. Imagine, I live in the Balmoral, he lives in Balmoral. What happens? I could stop him. But we're both in the Balmoral. We're both in the exact same thing. And I could stop you. Right? That was Rav Huna. Says the Gemara Meitvei, עושה אדם חנות מצד חנותו של חברו, מרחץ מצד מרחצו של חברו, right? ואינו יכול למחוא בידו, מפני שיכול לומר על התוספתו שלך, ואני אעשה בתוך שלי. He says, you could do whatever you want. I could open up my own shop. You could open your own shop. I could open my bathhouse. You could open your bathhouse. Why? Each one is saying, listen, I'm doing it from within my own property. So I'm doing what you can't stop me. So there's a bright mefureshet, not like Rav Huna. So answers the Gemara, you're right. Tanaihi, it's actually going to be a machlok Tanai, meaning this halacha of Rav Huna, remember Rav Huna is an amurah. This halacha of Rav Huna be'emet is a machloket Tanaim. We wanted to make it a machloket Tanaim between Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda. Now we're saying it's not Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda, because that could even be according to Chachamim, but rather it's another machloket. What is the other machloket? Between Chachamim and Rashbag. Says the Gemara, Tzanai, the Tanya was going to the Braita, Kofim b'nei mevod zeh et zeh, shelo להשיב בניהן לא חייב ולא בזקיו ולא מלמד תינוקו ולא אחד משם בניהן ולאמניות, which means, I'm in one mavui. I could force you not to rent out your property to my competition. Who is that? Right? He says over here, I could force you not to, let's say, a tailor, whether it's going to be a tanner, whether it's going to be melamed tinokot, or any other balei umaniyot. Right? Which means, right? Right? Which means, yeah, exactly. Thank you, doctor. Yeah? Which means that at the end of the day, right, he comes and he says, we're going to have a problem. He says, but if it's his own neighbor, you cannot force him. Rashbag says, you could force him. So you see from here that if it's going to be from somewhere else, you could force them not to do anything. But if it's going to be from your neighbor, you cannot force him to not open up shop. He's your neighbor. So Rashbag says, you could force him. So it sounds like Rav Huna is like Rashbag. Because Rashbag said, I could force my neighbor not to open up shop. So Rav Huna is like Rashbag. And who's Chachamim? Chachamim argue. They say, yeah, you're allowed to. You're a neighbor, you're allowed to.
But only if it's second, like another location, or if it's just the first one?
Even if it's the first location, no difference. The concept is not because of locations. It's this, is it infringing on me?
No, because you mentioned if it's the guy's third, fourth location, you it's the first one. Like
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If it's mutar to do competition, it doesn't matter if you've got 10 shops and I've got one shop. It doesn't matter. The concept is, are you allowed to come and infringe on my parnasa? But if you're saying that it's not infringing on my parnasa, but you cannot stop me, so even if I have another 10 shops, you can't stop me.
Let's say, for example, somebody opens across the street from the Grove and he does half price. He's going to drag the whole business away.
Bechavod, if he's allowed to, no problem.
No, I'm asking him, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if he's allowed to, there's no problem. Again, one more time, if he's allowed to, right? Which, what?
About same versus the same city versus the same neighborhood.
So one more time, the Chachamim, the Braita, there was a Braita. We just said it's Machloket Tanaim. The Braita says that I could force you not to rent out your house, right? Meaning I could force other people in the Mavui not to let in another tailor, let's say, or another tanner, another melamed tinokot within the same neighborhood. Yeah, but he says, but to a neighbor I cannot stop them. Meaning a neighbor I can't stop him doing anything. Why? Because he's got the same rights as I do. So if I'm a tailor and he wants to become a tailor, I can't really stop him.
This is and then yesterday, because not so that means if me and Mordechai live on the same neighborhood and he wants to open a tailor just like I'm a tailor, it's okay. That
He's allowed to.
Okay.
Except for who says no? Who says no?
If I move,
Rashbag. Rashbag says no. So Rav Huna is like Rashbag. Yeah.
If I know that he's going to rent it to somebody that's coming from Boca,
So then you could stop him,
then
of
we can
course.
stop him,
Of course.
not the other guy.
No, you stop him from renting to the other guy, which means you're stopping the other guy.
And that is like
It's ultimately stopping that. No, that's according to everybody. One more time. The only machloke between Rashbag and the Chachamim was the neighbor, meaning the guy from the same avui. Because according to the other guy, right, which is according to Chachamim, you could also stop somebody from coming outside. It's only the neighbor you can't stop. Understood? The neighbor you cannot stop.
Okay.
But
if he wants to open the business himself.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. But you could stop him from renting to the same
Yeah,
profession
to a
as-
same profession, or stop the other guy from
and
coming
that
in.
is according to
That's according to everybody. Everybody.
So what's so special about Rashbag's?
No, Rashbag is saying that you could stop a neighbor. You can stop a neighbor.
You could.
You could. So who's that like? Ravuna.
Right.
So Ravuna and Rashbag is אותו דבר.
So Ravuna, okay, so Ravuna
Ravuna
say
Rashbag.
you
But
stop-
we have Chachamim. Chachamim argue on Rashbag. So if I'm going to ask you, should we paskin like Ravuna? You're going to tell me 1 second. But if you just told me that Ravuna holds like Rashbag, Rashbag is going against Chachamim. Who do you always go like?
Which say
Chachamim say that you cannot stop a neighbor.
from renting it.
No, you cannot stop a neighbor from opening up shop.
Yeah, גם אם הוא rented.
But you just said that Rashbag also agrees to that. No?
No, Rashbag said I could stop a neighbor.
From renting it.
No, forget about renting. Can I stop a neighbor from opening up shop? Machloket, Chachamim, and Rashbag. According to Rashbag, I could stop him. According to Chachamim, no.
Somebody from the same
Same neighborhood. Okay? So Amar Ravuna b'der Yeshua, says Ravuna b'der Yeshua. He comes and he says as follows. Pshitali. It's obvious. Yeah? So he says like this, it's obvious. Barmata acharita metzam yakef. From one city to another city. Now this is, if you remember, even according to Chachamim. Meaning this is according to everybody. So for example, we live here in Miami. Somebody comes from, let's say they come from Israel, and they want to open up a Rami Levi, right, here in Miami. They don't live in Miami. We could stop them. So the Grove could cut them. Everyone could come and they could stop them. However, though, Ishayach bekarga deacha, but if they pay the taxes here, lo matzi makev, so they can't stop them.
That's according to
According to everybody.
that also is according to everybody.
Yeah, that's an exception to the rule.
כשאתה אומר משלם taxes, אתמול שאלתי אותך, you say taxes for house or something like that.
100%.
אז הוא צריך לקנות פה בית, לגור פה.
ודאי. הוא לא ישלם מיסים על זה.
Well, when
What's
you
the
say we
matter?
could stop it, really, it's not we. It's like we could want, everyone could want another shop here for the competition, but the shop.
The competition, right, exactly. The competition could stop. You're right. 100%, you're right. Maybe everybody's going to be happy that there's a Rami Levi here, but the Grove, if they're not happy, or whoever it is, the store, they could stop. Even they're
בל הרסטורנט, האונר לא חי פה.
Where does he חי?
יש לו מסעדות בפריז, והוא חי בלוס אנג'לס.
Okay. So if they would want to stop him, right, and they would say that it's going to be a sur, so it will be a sur.
The 88,000 restaurants in one block, it's not something.
מה זה, אבל הוא מול זה.
Doesn't matter. Again, if it's going to be that it's mutar, one more time. If it's mutar, well, we didn't finish. We only started the Gemara. You can't start. 1 second. 1 second.
אמרת חכמים, אבל לא.
1 minute. Barmata acharite is going to be a sur. Correct? According to everybody. Barmata, somebody from the city, a son of a city to another city, right, is going to be a sur. If they pay taxes, mutar. Second halacha. Now this is going to be against Rav Huna and Rashbag. This one right now. Bar mevuah dinafshe lo matzi me'akev. Right? If it's one from the same mavui, you cannot stop. You cannot stop them. So from the same neighborhood, you cannot stop them. So that's obviously not like Rav Huna, not like Rashbag. And that's what Rav Huna ben Yeshua is paskening. Right? And for him, it's pshitali. It's obvious to him that you cannot stop them. Then the Gemara was what we just mentioned before. By Rav Huna ben Yeshua, bar mevuah charina mai. What about it's from one neighborhood to another neighborhood? This is what I told you about Aventura to Surfside. So, and the Gemara answers Teiku. So now the Rishonim are going to say that since it finishes with Teiku, we go lenient. Right? And therefore, you can't stop me. Because I could say, there's no proof in the Gemara that it's a sur. Right?
But there's like a loophole in this, because if somebody comes.
Amar Rav Yosef, another halacha, umode Rav Huna b'mikre de dardeke, de lo matzi me'akev. Right? By mikre de dardeke, which means amlamet tinokot, you cannot stop them. Why? The Amar Ula said,
Different competition.
Kinat sofrim tarbeh chokhmah.
Will make them smart.
Right? Kinat sofrim tarbeh chokhmah. By the way, you should know, I don't know if you actually learned ever, the Maharsha.
Jealousy does
The Maharsha here says something beautiful. And the Maharsha says like this: why does it call them kinat sofrim? What are sofrim? So Tomer said, Talmidei Chachamim.
אבל זה בארבו.
Be prepared like that.
זה בארבו, זה סיפור שונה.
Yeah. Ma? Very good. So says the Maharsha, you will only find kin'ah by sofrim, by melamdei tinokot. But chachamim, we don't find that. Why? Because by chachamim, I don't have the Maharsha here.
מה זאת אומרת חכמים?
He comes and he says like this. Listen to this Maharsha, beautiful Maharsha. With this Maharsha, by the way, I explained Rashi on Parashat Be'alotecha. Rashi comes in Parashat Be'alotecha and it says that after Aaron HaKohen came and he saw, right, that the Nesi'im were the ones that they came and they brought all the different korbanot and all those things. So what happened? Chalsha dato. So I asked, why does it say Chalsha dato? Why didn't it say Nitkane bam? He was jealous of them. Say the word. Well, you can't say the word Nitkane bam. Say the word. Nitkane bam. Doesn't say that. It says Chalsha dato. What's Chalsha dato? So listen to this. Says the Maharsha. The Maharsha says, this is on Kavbet Amud Aleph. He comes and he says as follows. I can't find it. One second. The Maharsha is on Kaf Aleph, right? Kalaf Aleph Amud Aleph, where the Maharsha speaks about the concept of kinat sofrim tarbei chokhmah. He says, "Lo amar kinat chachamim tarbei chokhmah, ki amenia kvar lemalat hachacham lo yitkane bechavero, והחוכמה נוספת בו ממילא, כמו שכתוב ישמע חכם ויוסיף לקח, אבל הסופרים דנקת, the sofrim that we brought down, שעדיין לא הגיע למעלת החכמים, they're still not a חכם. כמו המקרה דרדקה. So therefore they're just מלמד תינוקות. כי נתם בחבריהם תרבה להם החוכמה, להגיע למעלת חכם, to get to a חכם. So therefore he comes and he says that really באמת החכם is not מתקנה. He's always just adding חוכמה, right? Because who's a חכם? He's always adding. So he says, תשמע חכם יוסיף לקח. He says it's only the sofrim. So therefore that's why he's saying it's מלמד תינוקות. It's a much lower level. That's why he's saying that. So according to that, that's why I told you that I answered that, because Aaron HaKohen was never going to be מתקנה. Doesn't exist the concept of the kin'ah over there. It was chalishut adat. Chalishut adat means when a person comes and they feel, I want that zichut. Not because I'm jealous of them. I want them to have that. I want everybody to have that. But I also want to aspire to such a craving, to such a, that's not a jealousy. That's called that I'm aspiring to do that. That's called that I'm going to come. And that's what you actually see by a lot of the kin'ah that we're talking about, especially by the Gdolim, was always in good things. It was not, I'm jealous. Look at his car. Look at his phone. Look at his this. His boat. Is this. No, nothing to do with it. It's the concept.
Moshe and Aaron, the kids, Moshe with the sons of Aaron, who become Kohanim, and
it wasn't. It's Chalishut Adat. Even though there is one place written in a Midrash to do with Moshe Rabbeinu, to do with Kina, Mea Mitot velo Kina Achat. There is a Midrash which I have a question against this. But again, there's because Moshe Rabbeinu, it says that when Yoshua bin Nun was teaching, so Moshe Rabbeinu got kibu jealous, and Moshe Rabbeinu came and he said, it's better to die, right, 100 times and not to be jealous once. Because, he said, just let me live and give it over to the Yoshua. Yoshua bin Nun is now the new leader. And there's a little bit of a, you understand, like, now he's the leader, it's a little bit of a, so anyway, but okay, fine. But anyway, let's continue. So, Kinat Sofrim Tarbei Chokhmah, says the Gemara, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, this is new Gemara, now on page 12, on the top, okay, page 12. We just mentioned that there's a concept of Kinat Sofrim Tarbei Chokhmah, which means that there's going to be more Torah, and the fact that there's going to be more Torah, you're allowed to do competition. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Umodeh Rav Huna bar Yeshua, Rav Huna bar Yeshua is also going to be Modeh, Berochlin amachzinim be'ayarot. You've got peddlers that they're going around from one city to another city. Delo matzi me'akev, that he could not stop them also. Why? The Amar More says, Ezra tiken lehem, he says, she'rochlim machzirim bayerot, kedei shi'u tachshitin mitzuyin libnot Yisrael, which means like this. Chachamim, this is Ezra Sofer. Ezra Sofer made 10 takanot, right? And one of the takana that Ezra Sofer made is that there should always be peddlers going from cities to cities in order that the women should always have perfumes. Why? It says over there, right, different types of perfumes and things like that. Mitzuyin limnot Yisrael. Why? In order that it should not be mitganeh lebaaleh, that they shouldn't become ugly in the eyes of their husbands. Meaning that you see that it doesn't exist that, listen, a woman got married once, and the day after the wedding, from then on, she's a shmata. No. Every single day of her life, she has to pay attention that she should not be mitgana bifne bala. And this has implications to halachot of nida, that even nida, but it's written, bekoshi tiru la lekaja, but she's still supposed to. This has implications to ilchot avelut, that even if she's an avelut, she's still supposed to put on something. Maybe it's after 7 days. There's a lot of halachot. I can't give all the halachot in regular chat, but a lot of the implications are because which one?
You can go to barber shop.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of halachot to do with the barber shop. That's even during Sfirat Haomer. There's a lot of halachot that imply that have implications because she should always look good in the eyes of her husband. So because of that, Ezra Sofer came. Think about it. You're going to tell me, Ezra Sofer, right? He's a Kohen, he's a this, he's a that, he's one of the Nevi'im. So, like, what are the takanot that you're going to make? And you're going to say, no, takana that women should have perfume. You're going to say, Ribbono Shalom, this is what he was dealing with. And the answer is yes, because he wanted to make sure that there's always going to be Shalom Bait. And he saw what a tragedy was brought up because the Jews were running to the non-Jews, right, to get married to them. So he made sure a takana, made an institution. They're going to be always around. So because of that, they cannot stop them. Says the Gemara, Vahani Mile, but one of these words, Ladure. Only if they're just going around. Avalikvue lo, but not to be kavua. Meaning, they could go around. They can make the rounds. They're going to come around here. They could sell, fine. But they cannot set up shop. Setting up shop is something fixed. That they can do. Right? They cannot be fixed. But they could go around. They could go around selling.
Talking only about perfume sellers or anyone?
Okay, well, here the Gemara speaks about perfume sellers.
Used to be very common. The guy comes sell watermelon or eggs or
going around.
Yeah.
100%. But now it's much less. But you're right. Yeah. Here the truth is the Gemara only mentions the rochlin. But it's mashma, but it was part of the takana. It was part of the takana.
Because there's two things. One is temporary.
Yes.
And two, it serves a specific purpose.
Exactly.
So is it for the specific purpose of the perfume for the woman?
Yeah.
To save the man?
So that's what it sounds like.
Or is it
100%. 100%. The next halakha, what happens if he's a rabbi? V'itzur b'merabanan, right? What happens if he's tzur b'merabanan? Tzur b'merabanan means there's a rabbi. Afilu lekvu enami. So then he's allowed to even kovea chanut. He says why? Ki had rava deshare lehu Rav Yoshia Rav Avodia lekvu de lo kirchata. Why? He says that means it's lifnim mishurat adin. Why? My tama kevan derabanan ninu, since the rabbis atu litirda letardu migirsayu. So then they're not gonna be able to learn. So you see again a second place is already the second place where you see that because of learning Torah, they were a little bit more bending the rules, right? So here they bent the rules. I mean, it's really bad, man. They're not allowed to set up shop. But these two rabbis, they let them set up shop. Why? Because if they're going to have to go around every single day, so imagine going knocking door by door, right? It's going to take away the time of their learning. They're not going to be able to learn at all. So if they're two Rabbanan, they said, you know what? Let them set up shop. Okay? Until you were clear?
So why would you understand the learning Torah? They were wasting time.
Yeah, they would have to waste time. Imagine right now, I do not have a perfume shop. So now nobody knows where to find me. So it means I have to go knocking door by door in order to get my parnasa. It's going to take away a lot of time in my learning.
So some chacham didn't permit?
So no. So if he's not a chacham, he's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed to set up shop. But he said if he's a tamir chacham, he's allowed to set up shop. Why? Because if not, it's going to stop their learning. Okay. Hanau dikulayu. There's a story, right? There's a story now. Hanau dikulayu te'aiti diklai lebavel. So there were people that used to sell baskets, right? What are you going to sell in the olden days? So they were selling baskets. So they were bringing it. How do you make baskets? A lot of times they make it from palm trees, right? Or from different things like that. So he says, now he was selling it biyom hashuk. Atu b'nei mata kamak v'yilaveu. So Comes the people of the city, they start to stop him. You're bringing from Bavel, you're bringing baskets. We want to stop you. They came in front of Ravina. Again, you have a problem. You go in front of Bedin. You go in front of the rabbi. Amalu, he says, Me'al ma'atu ule'al malizbenu. They came from the world, meaning they came from outside, and they're selling to people from the outside. What does that mean? To tourists also. So he says, "Ve'anamile b'yom ha'teshuk," but that's only in the Yom HaShuk, right? Aval belo Yom HaTeshuk, but if there's no Yom HaShuk, they're not allowed to. Ubiyom HaShuk adon lamin lo amrinan, ela zibunu b'shuk, but that's only to sell in the shuk. Aval ladure lo, but not ladure. Meaning here we learn a few things. Number one, when you have the day of the marketplace, sometimes they have, how do you call those things? Which one? Flea markets, or also what do you guys go to the farmers markets, or they go to expos, or I don't know what they're called. That you go to a certain place and they bring all different types of, whether it's this and you, like, for example, they've got a thing of dentists, so they come and they bring every single thing of the dentistry and all the utensils, and then which one? Yeah, which one? Convention shows, your fairs, all those things. So in all those things, they're coming from the world and they're selling to the world. So you're allowed to do that. But it has to be Biyom HaShuk, has to be on the day of the marketplace, because if it's not the day of the marketplace, I cannot come and start selling in that area. Plus, I could only sell in the marketplace. I could not go around.
Yeah, but here the Gemara is very specific that it says that they also sell to people for tourists, but a local can come and buy from you.
100%, but it doesn't matter though.
No.
But it doesn't matter. The second that they're allowed to sell, and they're selling also to the people from the outside, so therefore they're allowed to. Okay? Fine.
The purpose is for the tourists, but at the end of the day, whoever buy it doesn't matter.
Since the tourists are buying.
By the way, the Rim Migash actually learns like you. The Rim Migash learns like you. He wants to say, he says here that he says the people that are selling, they can only sell to tourists. They cannot sell to somebody that lives there, right? But the majority of the people don't say that. They're allowed to sell to anybody. That's a Me'ini, and that's a Bet Yosef, and the Data Rambam, the Mukhe Yosef. So it's a machloket. You're right. It's going to be a machloket Rishoni.
Duty free, you have to show a boarding pass. If you don't have a boarding pass, then it shows that you're not going to another city.
You're right, even though usually the boarding pass is because of taxes. It's not because of anything else. Oh yeah, it's a little bit more because of taxes, just because you're not going to pay the tax because you're traveling, whatever. Yeah, fine. Which one? Right, the next story. Okay, Hanau Amorai Daiti Amra Lefum Nara. There were people that they were selling Amra semer, wool. Okay, that they were brought it. So they came, they started stopping them. They came in front of Kana. He told them, right? Dino, he's allowed to. Yeah, he's allowed to stop them. Amrule, they told him, Itlan Ashrai. He says we have, right, chovot that we have to collect, right? Which means we were selling people with credit and we have to collect the money, right? So therefore, if we're not going to sell our merchandise, right, how are we going to have parnasa in between? Amalu, he told them, Zitlu zabnu shiur chayotaychu. You're allowed to sell whatever you need for that day, basically. Ad deakritu ashaydidchu, until you guys get your chov, bazlitu, and then you go. So this is something incredible. One more time, right? I'm from another city. But what happens is I've got people here that I give them on credit. So let's say I give them meat, I give them whatever it is. Now I'm trying to collect the money. They don't pay up. So what happens? I come to the city. I tell you, no, I'm starting to collect the money. Now in between though, I need to live. So he says you're allowed to come and sell whatever you need for that day, basically. Meaning I'm not allowed just to stand to sell, but I could sell whatever I need for the parnasah of that day. And the second that I finish the parnasah of that day, that's it. And the second that I finish getting from all the creditors the money, you pick up and leave. That's the way it is. Okay?
But they were allowed to sell initially, and now they can't sell anymore because.
No, they sold. They started selling. The people came. They said, "What are you guys selling here?" They complained. They went to Rav Kana. Rav Kana says, "Listen, they're right. They could stop you from selling." So they went and they said, "Even though you're right, you could stop us from selling, but technically speaking, we have creditors here. I mean, no, we are the creditors. No, we are the creditors, right? People owe us money, right? And we have to collect. Now, we need something to eat. We're here for a week, let's say, and we're going to try to collect all the money that people owe us, but we need to eat." She said, "You're right. Okay, fine. Sell whatever you need for those days, whatever it is, but that's it." Meaning, don't come here and make a profit. You're not allowed to make a profit. You could sell whatever you need just to eat. But the second that you guys get paid by the creditors, out.
So they're basically wholesalers that they sold
Yeah.
to distributors.
Exactly, distributors.
Distributors didn't pay, therefore they could sell.
Why distributor? It could be anyone, no?
Yeah, it could be anybody that he's selling on credit.
If that's the case, how were they
That's
allowed to
something else.
sell?
That's how they come in the first place.
How were they allowed to sell the
What do you mean? How did they sell lechatchila?
Okay, come to the city and somebody.
No, but they have to be the distributors, meaning they have to be wholesale. I'm bringing to you merchandise, right? I don't even live here. I'm sending it to you. I'm shipping it from China, right? All of a sudden, you never pay me. So I come to collect. So when I come to collect, I come and I open up shop. They say, hey, how are you doing that? So they took him to the rabbi. The rabbi says, they're correct. I'm sorry, you can't sell him. He says, yeah, but I have to, right? No, he's not selling to them. He's selling to the other people for
There's no
parnasa.
competition here that's involved. It's
No,
just-
there's competition. The other people.
No, so don't-
No. It's not that.
the com-
It's not the ones that they got for credit because they're waiting to get credit back.
Somebody
So
sells-
until no, but it wasn't them.
somebody-
It was other people
somebody
that were
tells-
stopping them.
Somebody tells crack here. While he's here waiting for him to collect, he has more crackers. He's allowed to sell them to anybody.
He's allowed to sell them to anybody just for his parnasa of the day. And the second that he collects the money, he has to leave. He cannot sell because he doesn't have a heter to sell.
So the question that I had is, how is he allowed to? He's from another country. How is he allowed to sell a product to somebody
Well,
that's local?
No, he could always sell a product that's something that's local. I don't understand that. There's no competition. But I don't understand. You right now have a catering business and he has a catering business, right? You need meat. How are you getting the meat from Rubashkin that he's not even okay? Now let's say he lives here or the son lives, but let's say he would be in Lakewood or whatever it was. Yeah, how's he selling it to you? Very simple. Why? Well, there's no issue to sell to you. He's a distributor. He's not selling to the public. He's selling to you, and you're selling to the public, right? The problems is the retailers, not on the distributors.
He sells whatever product that he is while he's here, which is the product that he sold to the guy that owes him the money. He can sell it to local people. It's okay, just because he needs parnasa for the same day.
Or they sell the same day, and then the second that he collects his money, he has to leave. One sec. Rav Dimi min Arda, another story. It grogerot besfina. He brought dried figs in a boat. Right? Amale reshkaluta lerava comes the reshkaluta and tells her, "Pukhazi, go see. Itzuma meramnu nakid leshuka. If he's a tamid chacham, so then let him. Amale rava leravada barava pukti lebekankine. Go check him out. Right? And that was a way to check him out. You go smell the barrel. Right? Nafakazal ba mine. Now he comes and he asks, Pil shebalak fifa mitzrit vikia. Yeah, you guys listening? An elephant. He swallows a kfifa mitzrit. He swallows a basket. It's called a kfifa mitzrit, an Egyptian basket. He swallows it up. And then what happens is that he comes and he vomits it. Right? Well, how does he vomit? Through the back. Right? That means it goes through his digestion system and it comes out. So the question is, what's halacha? Right? Is it going to be mikabel tuma or not? So lo biyadeh. He didn't have the answer. So Morni Rava, he comes and he says, "Are you Rava?" Tafach le besandale. So Ravada Barava comes, right? And what happens is that he hit on the with his makel on the sandal of Rav Dimi, as if like what's going on here? Amarle, he says, Ben didi le Rava katuva. Between me and Rava, there's a lot. But miu al kurchacha narabach. But I'm your rabbi. V'Rabba, v'Rava, and Rava is the rabbi of your rabbi. Right? So therefore, what happens? He didn't give him the marketplace. Meaning, he asked him some very interesting question, right? Tuma v'tara. You're going to tell that to Mordechai. He's going to say, well, that's a question you're asking. He asked me a question in Chot Shabbat, not on Tuma v'tarot. But he asked him a question on Tuma v'tarot. He realized he didn't answer. Now, this person that he didn't answer, he went and he said, you're Rava? As if see, when he said, no, I'm not Rava. I'm the student of Rava. But I'm your rabbi because I know more than you. That's what he's trying to say. And Rava is my rabbi. So therefore, he's the rabbi of your rabbi. So you have to give him a lot of respect. So what happened? He didn't give him the marketplace, right? So what happens? He didn't let him sell in the market because we said that only rabbis could sell in the market. You remember, right? With a fixed store. So Pasid Grogor did. He lost all the figs. He came in front of Yosef. Amale, he says, did you see what they did to me? Amale, he says, he says the one that didn't stop the bullshit of the king of Edom should not stop your busha. Tichtiv kol man Hashem shosha pishem moav al ba lo ashivenu al sarfo right al sarfu atzmot melech Edom. So Ravada Barava passed away. Powerful story. Everyone understood what happened. One more time. Who was the one that smelled them out? Who's the one? Ravada Barava. right? So he comes, right? Rava came and he told Ravada Barava, go check him out. Ravada Barava checked him out, and then by checking right away, he failed him, and that's it. Now you can't sell anything. What happens? He lost everything. So Rav Dimi, he was a big rabbi also. He comes to what's his name? It was to Rav Yosef, and he tells Rav Yosef, "Look what's going on. Look what they did to me." So he went and he said, "For the embarrassment that they did to you, Hashem shouldn't." What happened? Immediately, Rav Dimi passed away. It's a powerful Gemara. Yeah, not Rav Dimi. Sorry, Ravada Barava, the one that checked out Rav Dimi. So he passed out. What happened? Rav Yosef Amar. Rav Yosef came and he said, "Wow, Ana Anishte. I punished Rav Adabarava. Why? Because I went and I said that that Hashem that did not take vengeance, basically he didn't stop the vengeance from this king should not. So Kilo, I cursed him out. So it was me. Tana latite. Rav Dimi Menarda said, Ana nishte. I was the one that punished him. Why? Davsi Grugot didi. Because I made him lose his Grugot. Meaning he went and he made me lose my Parnasah. So because of that, he died. Right? Abaye comes and he says, Ananishte, I got him punished. Why? Rabbanan, because I went and I told the rabbis, which means he comes and he says that until you're going to come and you're going to go to Abaye to learn, right? Come and eat the fat meats from Rava, which means, right, first learn the halachot by Rava. So Abaye was choshesha because it was a pgiyah of Ravada Barava and his kavod, right? That means basically Ravada Barava was coming and saying, why are you guys going to this Rabbi Abaye? Right? Come and get the good meat by Rava. So Abaye felt that the fact that Ravada Barava was like disgracing Abaye, and Abaye and Rava were contemporaries, remember that. You know, so therefore, Kilu, he felt it was because of me that he died. He died because of me, because basically he was saying these statements, and they were very provocative, and therefore that's why he died. Rava comes and he says, it was because of me that he died. Why? Because when he used to go to the tabach to buy meat, Amalo used to tell them, I'm going to take him before the Shamashim of Rava. Because I'm better than him. So Rava felt that it was Kilu Pkiya in his kavod, that Ravada Barava was saying that he's bigger than Rava. So because of that, that's why he died. Rav Nachman ben Yitzchak says, I was the one who punished him. Rav Nachman ben Yitzchak Resh Kala, because he was Resh Kala, he used to give the Rashot on the Shabbatot, right? Kol yom mikam deniu lukala, every single day, Rav Nachman ben Yitzchak used to come in, Marhit Ba'adeh, Ravada Barava Shabbateh, and then Ravada Barava used to come and do with him the shiur chazara very, very quickly. The hadar, and then afterwards, Ayle Kala used to go up. How Yoma, there was one day, Naktu Rav Papa, Rav Vuna, Rav Yeshua, Ravada Barava, that they went and they stopped him. Right? Mishum Dulava Bisiyuma, because he wasn't there in the Darashah. So Amrule, they said, tell us what happened. Tell us so what happened? He says, this is what he said, this is what he said, this is what he said. Now what happened? He didn't come. So Amrule Rabbanan Rav Nachman Yitzchak, so he said, come, give the Darashah. He says, why are you sitting? Come and give the Darashah. Amarlo, he says, you know why I didn't give the Darashah yet? Because I'm waiting for the bed of Ravada Barava. I'm waiting for the coffin of Ravada Barava. And that's when he passed away. So says the Gemara, it's more mistaber to say that he passed away because of that. Meaning basically, he was waiting to go over the shiur, right? He used to do a chazara with him and then give over the shiur. He didn't come, so he didn't do a chazara. So they come and say, Rabbi, we're waiting for shiur. He says, no, I'm waiting for his coffin. That's when he passed away. So it's mistaber to say that that's when he passed away. Now, somebody's going to ask me, why is everybody blaming themselves, right? Usually, what do people do? They shift blame to other people. They're not going to take the blame to themselves. What's going on over here? But rather, this is the chidush that the rabbis were the exact opposite of normal people. Normal people, they're going to say, it wasn't my fault. He's going to say, it's not his fault, not his fault, it's nobody's fault. And that's it. And then whose fault is it? Nobody's. The chachamim were the exact opposite. They always blame themselves. And therefore, they're always going to say, it was my fault that this happened. Right? And that's a very big midah that we have to learn, taking responsibility. What does that mean? It's my fault. There you go. So therefore, it's my fault. So each one looked to find a fault in themselves. And that's why you have so many rabbis that it's my fault, my fault. Okay? Fine.